Welcome to the Right Hand Roadmap, the podcast for seconds in command of founder-led companies. I'm your host, Megan Long, owner of Second First. In each episode, we show you the path to success on your journey as the #2 leader in entrepreneurial companies. I am so happy you are here. Today, we're going to be talking about your tech stack, specifically the plethora of AI tools on the market right now, promising you the world. I'm sure as an operator, you have been fielding these from your entrepreneur. CEOs and founders are either getting really excited about these AI SaaS products, or they're just going ahead and signing up for them and then telling you after the fact. Let me just give you the origin of this topic and where it came from. In our Second First Mastermind membership, our small group cohorts meet quarterly. In addition to light benchmarking, a hot seat deep dive, and crowdsourced topics, we also have 1 to 2 chosen topics that we ask members to report on what they're doing in their business. So either a member will come and share the really smart and amazing things that they're doing in their company so others can get ideas or just steal that process, or it shines a spotlight on areas that our members need to add to their list of future projects or gaps to fill. So last Q4, one of those topics was vendor selection and tech stack. Okay, so we asked our members to report on the following questions. And honestly, I really recommend you pause and pull up your notes app and take down these questions just for you to work through yourself. First, what triggers a search for a new software or tool in your organization? 2, who is usually involved in evaluating and selecting new tools? 3, what are the key criteria you look for when selecting a new vendor, software, or tool? And then 4, do you have a documented process or SOP? 5, once selected, who manages implementation, rollout, and adoption in your organization? And then number 6, have you ever purchased a tool or software that failed or did not meet your business needs? And then what did you learn from it? And overwhelmingly, the answer was yes to number 6. Significant time and money had been wasted on the wrong software or the wrong tools. And some of it was poor due diligence on their part. So some of it was that they didn't have those other 5 things that were asked about. But some of it was also being promised the world by the sales engineer, and the product just didn't live up to the promises. Where we're seeing that a lot right now is in these AI tools. Harvard Business Review reported that MIT discovered that 95% of investments in AI have produced 0 return. Now, there's nuance because individuals are finding personal efficiencies in using AI. But at a company level, there are almost no benefits to the P&L. And oddly enough, they also found that most of these investments in AI were in sales and marketing, not operations. So companies are choosing to use AI tools to try and generate new business as opposed to using it to find efficiencies in how they are delivering their product and service. But let's look at Salesforce because I think that this is a good case study. They laid off thousands of employees, about 4,000 to be exact, because they pivoted to using LLMs. But they learned that the AI that they used to justify those cuts were unreliable. LLMs were random. They were experiencing drift, and they ended up pivoting back to AI mixed with custom coding and traditional automations. The AI can do anything promises were falling apart, and folks were realizing large language models were kind of just word calculators that were getting confused. Another concern I and a lot of folks have is in vibe coding. If you're unfamiliar, vibe coding is using prompts to have a tool basically build an application or a software for you. There's some significant compliance and security concerns with folks especially beginners vibe coding their own apps. I probably have a lower threshold for risk in this because my background is in IT. We had an entire third-party vetting process to make sure that any vendor or tool that we selected was secure. If you're hooking anything into your company's environment, even your email, you have to make sure it won't compromise your company. 60% of businesses shut down following a cyber attack, and cyber attacks are the biggest threat facing small businesses. So if you're using something that has been vibe coded and they haven't taken the necessary steps to make it secure, make it compliant, if they can't answer every question about where your information is going or what doors they might be opening to your environment, that's a red flag. Now, agentic AI is interesting. It's probably what a lot of us originally thought when AI was first coming to market. Agentic AI is where systems can make decisions. They can act autonomously and independently. They can actually trigger workflows or interact with external systems on your company's behalf without you prompting it. All right, so it's pretty cool and truly building efficiencies, but most companies, especially SMBs, aren't ready for this. Again, it sounds cool, it promises you the world, but you have to have certain readiness done on the front end in order to adopt this. Let's phrase it as, if your house is messy, you should probably clean it up before you invite an agentic AI guest over, because garbage in is garbage out, right? Second, most small businesses don't have the time or the resources to give it proper oversight. So they think it can be this set it and forget it thing. However, when it's not delivering on its promises or it's limited by the information you have available, it's an expensive waste of time and your budget. So when you are selecting an AI tool, first start low cost, because you are definitely going to be needing to iterate as you go. So you're going to need additional budget for that second, third, fourth round. Second, make sure you are crystal clear on a true value creation initiative. Like, you have to tie it to a purpose. A lot of entrepreneurs and founders and people that get excited about these things, they allow the product to dictate to them what the problem is, rather than starting with the problem they're trying to solve and then finding a tool to fix it. So what is one thing specifically in your operations or your backend that could benefit from efficiency and using AI? And third, have intention to scale that solution once it's successful. So once that one small thing sees benefit from this tool, you can start to expand it into other areas of your business. And fourth, this is specifically for agentic AI. Okay, there is a know your agent or a KYA framework that's really important to follow. So this is essential for security, risk mitigation, proper oversight, and making the most of your investments. Know your agent includes capability. So what is this model even permitted to do? What are you allowing it to do? Next is behaviors. So what is it actually doing in these real environments? Next is the decision making. So really understanding the tracing all the way from input down to its action. What is it doing in that decision making? That can't be a mystery to you. And then fourth, really kind of contingency planning. So understanding how these actions could be abused, how they could be spoofed, how they could be used for malicious intent. You have to get ahead of that and understand how it could go wrong. You need to have testing environments, so sandboxes that are separate from your actual working environment, so you can actually test these actions it's making. And then finally, human overrides. You have to be able to get in and stop it or override whatever this AI is trained to do. And while I have you, let me just get on my soapbox really quick. I need you to educate yourself on using AI ethically. If you love AI and you're a huge fan of it, then you're probably confused why you see so many people that are very anti-AI. that are very critical of it and honestly critical of people that use it. Well, of course, there's the impact on human jobs. So I mentioned the Salesforce case study. They promised their entire company for about a year that no one would lose their job to AI, and then they ended up laying off 4,000 people. So ethically, that is a concern. There's also the entire creative industry that is now suffering. My sister-in-law, who's a badass director working in animation, has been significantly impacted. My husband is in a band, and now we're seeing AI-generated music trending on TikTok. And if the industry or if these streaming services can cut out paying royalties to humans, that means they can keep 100% of the profits. So when you think you're just making a cute little picture on ChatGPT and hopping on a bandwagon trend, and you see that people are getting mad at you or they're calling it AI slop, it's because creatives are really hurting right now. And of course, there's deepfakes, surveillance, misinformation, and the environmental harm, especially in rural and lower income communities where these huge data centers are being built. So yes, efficiency is wonderful, but being very intentional and very careful about how we are using these AI tools will prevent you from wasting time, wasting money, and possibly hurting other people. So I would love to know your thoughts on this, and if you have successfully implemented a tool or a tech stack item in your business, let me know in the comments. To find show notes and links to anything mentioned in this episode, visit secondfirst.com/58. Be sure to subscribe to catch future episodes and leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. And remember, you don't have to navigate being a second in command alone with the right hand roadmap.